got the knowledge in store. Oh yeah, and then watch them travel the fire. Movie and TV show reviews that you need. Film preps on fire, we're planting the seeds. Film prep, we keep it real. Dive into the stories, you know the deal. Turn the fun, it's the place to be. Movie lovers gather round. 1, 2, 3. From blockbusters to indie.
Happy Friday, everybody. So much going on. There's so much going on. Tons of movies are in theaters this weekend, and you don't probably care about many of them. But there are some gems. That's right. There are gems in a bowl of garbage, and we will discuss it. Plus news, and the director of Screamboat will be on the show today. And as always, love him or love him a lot, Alan Ng. So get ready for the show. Let's go. Let's go. Alan's excited.
Oh.
Let's go. I know he's here. I know he's here. Where is he? Where is that guy?
Alan, I've been looking for you myself. Alan.
Oh boy.
Are you ready for Screamboat, director? Come talk to us.
I am. Oh my God, that movie's weird.
We have added the category for award this next year to public domain horror movie, which we've already
public domain slasher movie.
We've got slasher. Whatever. We've got enough nominees already, and we're in the first quarter of the year. I feel like that could be our biggest category. And it will be a lot of fun. So last night, I got to say, you and I went to an event for the Credo 23 Film Festival, which is now this weekend. We met Justine Bateman face to face. Alan and I had a great discussion with her. It was at the Kodak House on Sunset Boulevard, where if you are a filmmaker, you can go there and talk to them about shooting on film. They gave a whole presentation about how film is not as expensive as people say. There's video that I'll post on for members only where Justine gives a speech, and we'll be there on Saturday and Sunday for Credo 23, seeing films, panels, and apparently there's a happy hour.
Yes.
At the American Legion Hall. On Highland Boulevard, just north of Hollywood. There you go.
I just say though, I was pretty impressed with that Kodak presentation. It's film. Yeah, if you really look at it and dig into the numbers, film might actually be cheaper than digital.
And they gave out these things. It's a little collectible of an actual strip of film with frames from the movies playing at the festival. It was a lot of fun. So
yeah,
so anyone can go. There's no like elitist, like, oh, just get a ticket, go. Here, check it out. The last time we'll show this. So Alan and I will be there. Justine Bateman will be present at all the events. I guess she's doing Q&As. So there you go. And why do we support that? Because we support independent film.
By the way, for filmmakers, Saturday there is a panel that she is leading about distribution, and it looks pretty packed in terms of the knowledge you're going to get from it. So if you're concerned about distribution, which I think is the biggest issue right now for indie filmmakers, if you can get yourself to Credo tomorrow, that's the time to be there.
So support indie film. Go to credo23filmfest.com and look for us. I'll probably be wearing a Film Threat shirt like the one I have on now. This is my new favorite one. It's the new Fantastic Four logo, but maybe like kind of Film Threat eyes a little bit. So there you go. I almost was going to do a rant, but I'll just make a quick comment for those not familiar with this channel. I've been doing the stupidest thing ever, which is reading your comments. Not you that watch us live. You're smart. You're informed. You know what we're about. But people that don't know what we're about will make comments. Why are you covering all this mainstream stuff? You don't watch the channel. This I have done. Here's my philosophy on Film Threat. I'm gonna give it to you right now. Are you ready for this?
Yes.
A freaking IKEA chair.
This needs to be said. Okay? It needs to be said once and for all. Film Threat is not your typical YouTube outlet, media outlet. It's been around for 40 years, started as a zine, then a magazine, then it was purchased by Larry Flint. That's right, that Larry Flint. In 1991, he owned it for about 5-6 years, and I did the magazine with him. Then I got the rights back, turned into a website, and the website turned into a YouTube channel and website. It's a whole big thing, but one thing has remained consistent. What Film Threat has always done, is we cover mainstream Hollywood and we mock Hollywood. We mock the stupidity of Hollywood. We've done that since issue 1 of Film Threat. We did it in the zine. We did it in the magazine. We did it through the 80s, the 90s, the early 2000s. We mock and make fun of Hollywood and discuss it and point at it and talk about crap Hollywood movies. And they've been crap for different reasons. They're crap now because of probably wokeness and agenda has ruined it. They were crap back in the day for different reasons. But we have always mocked Hollywood, simultaneously sucking you in with coverage of mainstream crap and some stuff that I like, admittedly. The 1989 Batman. I snuck into a movie theater and took photos off the trailer and put them in my magazine in 1988. Crazy story. Old days. Crazy. We have always covered Hollywood and mocked it while simultaneously covering indie movies worth checking out. That is what we've done from the beginning. It's my way of tricking you into I guess discovering these indie movies and broadening your palette. Because if you only watch Marvel, Star Wars, Disney, I would go crazy. Well, more crazy, actually. The point is, we suck you in with the mouse and with the Marvel and all this, blah, blah, blah. But mixed within that, we cover indie film and always have. It's always been this way. So morons who make comments on our videos saying, why are you covering Snow White? We cover it because everyone else is covering it, because it's worth covering. I have 9 news stories about Rachel Zegler we're about to go over. But we are also going to cover indie movies because that's what we do. And that's all I have to say about that. I'm a little, this upsets me because comments from people that don't watch the channel, they don't deserve it. But the people in the chat, I love you all.
A freaking IKEA chair.
All right. So speaking of the chat and the comments, let's go through these, Alan.
Yeah. Hey, Marco CCS65, member for 1 month. Hail Film Threat. Your John Carpenter video is great. And
well,
those are the perks of becoming a member of the YouTube channel.
According to some people, it's not that great because I got all these negative comments. How could you not know John Carpenter's politics? I don't pay attention to what celebrities say about politics. I assume they're idiots, all of them. However, if some are extremely loud, like say a Ruffalo or a Hamill or a Stephen King, it's like, oh, dude, I don't want to hear from you. But thank you for that, Marco. I appreciate it.
All right, Sin's Corner. Hey, I was thinking of watching A Working Man tomorrow, but changed my mind. Saw a double feature of Woman in the Yard and Death of a Unicorn.
As did I.
You didn't see her there last night, did you? Hertz Donut. Chris looks like a superhero today.
Well, thank you very much.
Wes Ray, got to do a Best Popcorn Bucket award too.
By the way, by the time award this rolls around, there will be a collectible Film Threat popcorn bucket available if you go to award this. But what we are thinking of doing for people who cannot attend award this, selling the gift bag online. Will have a limited number, like maybe 25, and we'll sell them.
JPTRX, American Legion is a great place to get your drink on.
Yes, I'll be there tomorrow.
Been there yet. I'll be there tomorrow.
Oh, it's great. I saw a premiere there a couple years ago.
Was it nearby the Kodak, or is it?
It's walkable from the Kodak.
Okay. Now I know where to go. Suns and Shadows. Alan sipping his coffee like, yep, this is every morning with Chris. You have no idea. Geek Through 64 for 2. Rest in peace to the best poster artist, Drew Struzan. Yeah,
Drew Struzan, a real loss. Love his art. So many great posters. And shout out to Geek Truth 64. We have to get you on Versus someday and check out his channel. Amazing coverage of DVDs. Amazing. I watch your channel, to be clear. Nice setup too. So all right, I might have been glitching before. Probably it's something to do with my rant. And finally, Lord Thoth, Alan.
Yeah, like, share, subscribe, hit that bell for notifications, sign up as a member. Join us on X, Rumble, Discord, and Instagram. Buy our merch. Shop.filmthreat.com.
Superhero style is here. I'm wearing one of our shirts. This shirt right here. This very stylish and fashionable shirt. Pick your design, pick your size, pick your color. Every shirt is custom. I love this collection. Classic logo. I got that one too. I think the biggest customer of the shop is probably me.
I think so.
Yeah. So there you go, Alan. I know you buy the shirts as well.
I do.
I like them. So pick one up. So there you go. All right. So much more going on. Let's get to our first news story here. Yeah. Let's talk about Snow White. Got a couple Snow White stories. Jordan Peterson was on the Megyn Kelly show, which I watch occasionally. And I also have followed Jordan Peterson. I think he has a positive message for young men. Whatever you think about that. He was parodied in that god-awful Olivia Wilde movie, which turned into a movie about incels. It was a terrible film. And one of the characters that Chris Pine played was based on Jordan Peterson, but clearly Olivia Wilde had no idea what Jordan Peterson was truly all about. And it was clear from the junket. And even Chris Pine once learned about that. He wasn't even aware that he was supposed to be a Jordan Peterson-like figure, and kind of said, oh, well, I checked out Jordan Peterson. I think he's actually pretty good. So he talked about that in this interview, but also he discusses Snow White. He had comments on Snow White, and it's a couple minutes. I'm going to play this clip, and Alan, I'd love for you to comment on that.
I've not seen this.
Okay, here we go.
That are toxically masculine. And look, here's an example. So, Disney just nose planted remarkably with Snow White. And so in the original Grimm's fairy tale, which is a very, very old story, right? Because Grimm gathered these stories. We have no idea how old they are. There's indication that some of our folk tales are 15,000 years old. They're really old, and you can't mess with them because they have a logic. Okay, so now you might ask yourself, well, why does Snow White have to run away from the evil queen? Who's the evil queen? Well, in the Grimm's fairy tale, the evil queen puts Snow White in a bodice that's so tight she can't breathe. So that pathologizes her sexuality. And then she gives her a comb that poisons her, because that's the temptation towards narcissism. And then she feeds her a poisoned apple, which is exactly what the harpy ideologues are doing to young women to destabilize their identity and to push them off the reproductive tract. And so, both of those interpretations work, by the way. And so that's the evil queen. Okay, now when Snow White runs away from the evil queen, where does she go to get her act together? Well, she goes to live among the dwarfs. And who are the dwarfs? They're hardworking, orderly, responsible, ordinary men who keep a clean house. And she learns to be appreciative of their ability to protect her from the evil queen. And so she grows up, and then she can find a prince. Right. And these are the sorts of stories that I'm telling people. And when I tell them, they understand, because the stories make sense. Like everything I said there is immediately comprehensible, right? You think, oh, yes, obviously. Right.
And
well, it's not so obvious. Not well, apparently controversial enough so that Disney would rewrite the entire story and spend $250 million plus $150 billion on marketing to make a dull mess, right? And sink their damn company. And that's just one indication of how absolutely messed up we are. Now that movie, I went and saw it. It could have been a lot worse than it was. They reverted back to the dwarfs, and not exactly accurately, but it was still basically a feminist revolutionary screed. And even that could have been interesting, although it wasn't. And the evil queen wasn't particularly evil, but the evil queen that's teaching women right now is particularly evil. And she's already made 1/4 of them. She's already knocked 1/4 of them off the reproductive pathway. 1 in 4. 1 in 4. And so that's a complete catastrophe. And so, Olivia Wilde,
he goes on to talk about the Olivia Wilde situation and him being lampooned in her awful movie that we reviewed when it came out, and it was bad. But what do you think about this, Alan? I guess I should play Jordan Peterson at double speed.
Yeah, probably.
He's a slow, intentional talker. He likes to use, big words. I like to speak plainly about these things.
Yeah, he's a clinical psychologist. That's
I wasn't aware that some of these fairy tales are thousands of years old. And there's a reason that they've survived thousands of years, because they resonate to something primal in our lizard brain. And it's not easy to undo that, but it just, I don't know. I do like hearing him speak about this stuff. What are your comments? And then I've got another story related to Snow White. You believe it or not?
Yeah. I mean, I could speak to, because I started listening to all you guys. That's what got me onto Jordan Peterson. And, I think he's very practical. Just a common sense look at the differences between men and women, roles like that. And I think he's spot on here, because the problem with Disney over the last few years is the fact that, and I wrote an article about this, ironically, back in 2018, about woke Disney. The idea that we need to see Walt Disney's classics reframed in a new perspective, and that perspective is being woke. And that's exactly what's happening. What hopefully Snow White is the culmination of all that,
right?
Because we need to, these old tales that old white men had written long ago do not resonate with the modern audience, when reality is that they do. And I think it's kind of, when you start going back and looking at the old classics, I want to believe that there's going to be kind of a reverse woke, where everyone says, "Hey, I just saw the Rachel Zegler Snow White. Let's look at the original." And you see what rich storytelling you had then, not only with Walt Disney, but going back to the Grimm's Tale, and the fact that storytelling has not progressed, it has regressed. Because when you have them discussing Grimm in a way that, the narcissism of beauty, when he describes each element of Snow White, you realize that was storytelling. He says 15,000 years ago. I think he means 1,500 years ago. It's weird because this is what people just can't get a hold of, is that, there was a time where human beings told great stories, and we refused to look back, study them, and say, how can I make my story today better? What are the elements that made great stories back then that I can infuse in my story and make my story great for today and the future? And that's my thoughts on Jordan Peterson here.
All right. I've got another story. The producer's son, the producer of Snow White, the son of that producer, made a comment on Rachel Zegler and Snow White. I'm going to share. This is actually from our friend Steph at My Nerdy Home on Twitter. And someone asked the son of the producer on, I believe it was Instagram. And this person asks, your dad flew to New York City to reprimand a young actress. Any word on this? Because that's creepy as hell and uncalled for. People have the right to free speech. No shame on your father. And Jonah Platt, I believe it's Mark Platt is the producer.
Yes. And his son Ben Platt is a famous actor. Right.
Yeah. And so Jonah, I think people are sick of this. And Jonah Platt replied, he has since deleted the reply, but this is worth talking about. Jonah says, you really want to do this? Yeah, my dad, the producer of the enormous piece of Disney IP with hundreds of millions of dollars on the line, had to leave his family to fly across the country to reprimand his 20-year-old employee for dragging her personal politics into the middle of promoting the movie for which she signed a multi-million-dollar contract to get paid and do publicity for. This is called adult responsibility and accountability, and her actions clearly hurt the film's box office. Free speech does not mean you're allowed to say whatever you want in your private employment without repercussions. Tens of thousands of people worked on that film, and she hijacked the conversation for her own immature desires at the risk of all the colleagues and crew and blue-collar workers who depend on that movie to be successful. Narcissism is not something to be coddled or encouraged. Bravo, Jonah Platt, for basically saying what every common sense person is thinking. In any case, we'll put the link to Steph's post on here. Alan, what are your thoughts on that? I think fine. And I think that Jonah, I think this needs to be a trend. Go Jonah. Start calling people out for this behavior. And I submit that I think she will never be hired for a big tentpole movie. She is now in indie movies and Broadway, and that's it. No one will take a risk on her. She is too immature to understand the responsibility. And bravo to Gal Gadot for remaining steadfast and being as professional as possible in light of the circumstances. Because as we know, they had to hire private security, additional security for Gal. And she has superpowers, I would assume. But I don't know. I hope this is the last we hear of it.
No, because you want more videos about this.
Wait, maybe not. But Alan, what are your thoughts?
Well, I think she's gonna do well in the bubble that is known as Broadway.
Yeah.
You know, she'll be with her people, and they will just continue to, the echo chamber will continue. The other two points. One is even with all this, Snow White is still a bad movie, and it's probably Mark Platt's fault. But that's getting back to Zegler. How did this event occur? Disney had just released the proper full trailer for Snow White. And then Rachel Zegler goes on Twitter and goes on X and says, "Thank you for loving my movie and loving me for being in it. And by the way, free Palestine." You know, that's just it. Is, you know, she is hired to be in a movie and promote that movie and to bring controversy into it, counter to what these companies expect you to do. Yes, it's Disney, but we're talking about the practical. If we want the movie industry to survive and theaters to survive, you've got to play the game. You go out there, you tell great stories about yourself, what happened on set, and how great this movie is, and that's your job. And for her to potentially, I mean, here's the thing: is if Snow White was a good movie, it would have made less money because of Rachel Zegler's comments. And that's his point, is what's happened is parents today have forgotten how to raise their children to be adults. And so at 21 at this time, or 20 at this time, it's clear that she's still a child and her parents weren't there to show her the way of showing respect. I mean, they should play the Anthony Mackie video we played the other day, because we need our kids to be respectful of people. They are not the smartest people in the world. I would not want to run this country and make policies based on what children and teenagers say today. And then lastly, the biggest point is there are hundreds of millions of dollars put into this movie. There are crews who rely on being paid. There are crews who rely on these movies succeeding so that another movie will be made so that they can continue doing jobs. And it's not Rachel Zegler's fault, but at the same time, you know, there's this idea of gratitude and humility that young actresses need to have, and actors, to show gratitude for the people who helped make their movie.
Absolutely.
And it's just this. I mean, Snow White on its own is a dumpster fire, and Rachel Zegler only makes it worse.
Let's go to your comments. We have a lot of them. Alan, if you would put the comments up, I have to do something right now, unfortunately.
Okay. I think it's P is the word you want to say. Khalid says Alan goes into English dub mode every few seconds. LOL. Hopefully Monday that will all be solved.
Alan. You do glitch out about every few seconds. You like drop for it's
again. Hopefully Monday. Hopefully Monday it's all solved.
Yeah.
Let's see, do we get this one? Okay. Sin's Corner. He shouldn't have deleted that reply. It was a fantastic SmackDown, definitely. I mean, you know, look, if you say something right, you shouldn't feel afraid to take it down. Hey, it's me in HD. Dang.
Wait. This one. Do this one first.
Okay. Here you go. Greedy Graffiti for $4.99. Have y'all seen the 2-part documentary American Experience Walt Disney? Is it good? I've seen it. I believe it's on Netflix, weirdly enough.
I have not seen it.
Yeah, I need to see it.
But I love docs about Disney. We talked about Stolen Kingdom a few weeks ago, interviewed the director and reviewed the film. Check out Stolen Kingdom.
Yeah, and you tried to get us to love this documentary about the Star Cruiser failure. Jimmy Francis, Disney created.
First of all, to be clear, I'm morbidly curious, and I will watch the doc. It doesn't mean it won't be cringe, but I'll watch it.
It looks so good.
Alan, please continue.
Jimmy Francis, Disney created the monster, then lost control.
True.
Is that how it always? And finally, back to it. Hey, it's me in HD. Dang, when was the last time an artist was universally hated like Zegler currently is?
He doesn't help herself. She did it to herself.
Mm-hmm.
He only has herself to blame. That is what being an adult is. I'll tell you what being an adult is. This is for a short. Here is what being an adult is, which Rachel Zegler clearly is not. Rachel Zegler is not an adult. It's being an adult is when you have an emotion and you do not act on emotion. Children are pure emotion and they react to their emotions and they can't control them. When you're an adult, you have emotions and you are in control. You can make choices based on logic, not emotion and being an idiot. That was a mini Gore rant, if you noticed there. So, all right, we have so many news stories and a lot of lot of reviews. So we're going to be moving fast and furious here. But a quick reminder: live at Wondercon tonight, we will be live from Wondercon. Alan and I, probably about 5-6 p.m. We'll be live from the floor. Then I am doing so look for that tonight if you want to see us stream live from WonderCon. I am also on a panel. It's Concept to Creation, a writer's forum. That's today, Friday, March 28th, 7:30 p.m. in room 210. If you are at WonderCon in Anaheim at the Anaheim Convention Center, I'll be there for that panel with April Wallin and a whole bunch of other people who I respect. Trevor Langley, like a lot of people writing from different, fiction, nonfiction. It'll be a great panel. So I'll be there live for the panel. Alan and I, before the panel, will walk the floor. We'll give you a tour of WonderCon. So look for us live later, and we'll be hanging out in person, IRL, as it were. And then where will I be after? I will be at either the Marriott bar or the Hilton bar. Choose your pick. In fact, I'll be at both because I'll be going back and forth.
Probably.
So there you go. There's your reminder about
last year. The Hilton was a little crazy.
Yeah. All right. Let's go
Moving
to
on.
our next news story. Alan, if you would. House of David creator explains using AI. AI has been very controversial. Of course, we've covered it here. We've shown you the sort of cheesy AI trailers for classic movies, and I find them amusing. We recently looked at the trailer for Karen Unleashed, which I think was pretty remarkable, you have to admit. And AI is the genie is out of the bottle. It cannot be stopped. But even using AI makes you a pariah. I think there are ways to use it that make sense, and ones that are stealing. There's clearly, if the data set you're using to make your AI is a person, a real person, a public figure. I mean, we get memed. Memed is one thing, but if someone made a buddy cop movie with Alan and I, well, I'd probably want to watch it. Actually, I'm not going to lie, but it's not something that's you're legally able to sell because it's based on our likeness, which we own. But tell me about this story, Alan, from Variety.
All right. So House of David, which is a faith-based series based on the King David, creator explains using AI to create the Goliath origin sequence. Episode 6 of Amazon's House of David introduces Goliath's origin story with a visually stunning sequence created using generative AI. Series creator John Irwin reveals that when the scene was initially envisioned on a smaller scale, AI tools allowed for a more ambitious and cost-effective approach. The production team at Wonder Project blended AI software with traditional tools to achieve photorealistic visuals. AI expedited the process, completing the scene in weeks rather than months, improve effective in handling VFX elements such as character consistency, elemental realism, and physics simulation. Irwin emphasized that AI was used to enhance existing assets rather than generate them from scratch, allowing for creative flexibility within budget.
See, that's the point. You keep dropping out, Alan. Let me finish this for you. It's using AI based on existing assets. I think that's the key. But you're going to see this more and more. AI will be used in movies, and it will be controversial until there's some decided ethical way to do it, right? Where it's not exploitive of elements that are not owned by the people utilizing this tool. What are your thoughts on this? Because I have not seen this.
Yeah, I mean, I think my position on this, I'm still working it through. I understand why AI is being used. It's to produce what's in your head and put it on the screen at the budget you can afford. And AI is at a point now, apparently, where you can do that. At the same time, a lot of people not working. A lot of artists, a lot of visual artists not getting the work due.
Well, the whole industry has contracted. I mean, that's no, you can't deny that.
No, and that's again why the battle rages. I mean, I'm definitely, every time I say something positive about AI, I want to say something negative about AI.
Yeah.
Every time I say something negative about AI, I want to say something positive about it. That's where I am at this.
Yeah.
And so it's kind of a wait and see. See what happens to technology over time, over the next year.
Here's a post from Culture Crave about this. It says Amazon's new series House of David used generative AI for many of its VFX shots. Amazon gave them permission. Series has over 22 million views since launch. And it says these tools are human, more creative, and more collaborative than any other tools I've used in a VFX process. Mm-hmm. So there's an image. I assume that was generated that way. Here is also a little demo. We'll watch some of this, of some of the shots that were used. Let's take a look at this.
Hey, I'm John. I am creator and co-showrunner of House of David. It is our company, The Wonder Project's first production in collaboration with Amazon and Prime Video. It's on Prime Video right now. To our knowledge, we are the first, or among the first, to use generative AI tools to create some of the scope and scale that would have been otherwise impossible. All the footage that you're seeing right now was made using an AI tool set combined with traditional tools. Specifically, episode 6 represents the first scene in a show that's driven by generative AI tools. Now, many other traditional tools were used in the process. Real actors were used to perform the scene, but this represents a leap forward in technology and what we were able to achieve. These tools are more human and more creative and more collaborative than any other tools that I've ever used in a VFX process. I say that as a showrunner, I say that as an AI artist, and I say that as a former animator. Why am I telling you?
Well, so just pause for a sec. This is basically, we should have just shown this and not read the article. This is better. I don't know. I'm still skeptical, but if they own the data they're pulling to make the images, I mean, how is that different? Like, how is it different than touching up something on Photoshop of something they own? If they own it, they can manipulate it. I don't know. Watch a little bit more of this, and then we'll go to comments.
I think much of the fear and discussion around these tools are in two categories. Number one, will these tools replace creativity and artistry? And number two, will these tools take jobs in our industry? We have found by using them and taking the time to deeply understand them, that actually the complete opposite is true. They allow me to be more creative as the showrunner. They allow actors to have more agency into their digital performance. And they allow the core department heads on the show to be able to collaborate on the visual effects, because we're actually making the visual effects while we film the show. Of the 850 VFX shots in season 1 of House of David, 73 shots were created using these tools as an engine to the car. These are a new set of paintbrushes that, when placed into the hands of artists, especially when they're together and collaborate, allow you to do things that were formerly impossible. The integration of these tools are going to create jobs in our industry. That's what I feel. The reason is, a show like House of David, many people told us that our vision was impossible. What we say at Wonder is we do not compromise, we innovate. If we had listened to the status quo of our industry, House of David never gets made. By making it a budget many people thought was impossible, we're able to employ nearly 700 people. House of
So
Yeah.
I think this is not the last we're going to see. Clearly, this is going to keep going. And now they're using this little behind the scenes kind of sell that it's AI, but don't be mad at us. It's AI. Don't be mad at us. I don't know. I don't watch that show. Final thoughts, Alan. We have a lot to
Yeah. So I think the real issue for me is, when you watch something and AI is a part of it, it kind of lessens the value or the impressiveness of that. It's like red dye 40. If your food has red dye 40 in it, you're going to feel a little creepy about eating it. At the same time, you're not going to go to a Michelin star restaurant and expect them to put red dye 40 in their food. And I say that in a way that I say that as, if you're going to spend $250 million on your movie, why are you using AI? But if you're selling snacks off the shelf at Walmart, I guess I understand why you're using red dye 40. And that's kind of, to me, where this tension is at with AI and art and movies altogether.
Let's go to comments here.
All right. Greedy Graffiti for $4.99. I just saw your Rachel Z thumbnail with this caption. That girl's poison. Belle Biv DeVoe updated lyrics. Never trust a hairy back and a smile.
I've always said that, actually. I never trust a hairy back and a smile.
Rowan Charman, member for 10 months. Did you guys see the Lord of the Rings AI video by Ghibli?
We have not. If we have time, we'll watch it at the end of the show. We have too many news stories today. I like news stories that might make good clips, but we're going to do all of them because the show will be 3 hours today.
Yeah. And Chris wants to show the Karen Unleashed trailer again at some point.
So, exactly.
Okay. Alex C for 10. There will be a point where they'll need to label movies like food. Oh, here we go. As labeled organic to attract certain demographics. The movie was made
This movie was made without AI. That would make me want to see it more. Okay. You keep dropping out, Alan. It's very frustrating. It's very frustrating. So, yes. And there's a whole film festival called Credo 23 about that. Andrew Cram gifted 10 Film Threat memberships. Thank you so much, Andrew. Christopher Moonlight Productions, who we appreciate him. He is an award this winner. He is an advocate for AI. Just coming in, we're talking about AI. Yay, people have to stop the doom and gloom comments. It just shows a lack of imagination. These are new tools. The heart of art still comes from us. Well said, Christopher. Mm-hmm. Well said. Alan, let's give this a try.
Classic Travis. Do you think that AI movies will be the new form of pitching to studios?
Well, I think AI will be used for presentations to pitch projects to studios that do things called lookbooks or Ripomatics. AI will be used for that. And I think AI will be a tool. It's not going away. It's only going to expand. And I think it will be a gimmick. And then I think it will be a category. So, for example, animated movies that are CG 3D movies, they're still 2D movies, right? But most animated movies are CG 3D, right? The Minions movies go on and on. And it'll be a category. There might be a category AI movie where you go knowing it's all AI, but it's all comes down to the story. Hey, it's me in HD. Gore is Karen Unleashed #1 fan. I'm not a fan of it. I want people to see it because I want them to know what's coming. And they should be ready. Be ready for it. One last news story today, because we have too many news stories. The Sundance Film Festival is moving to Boulder, Colorado in 2027. The Sundance Film Festival's last year in Park City, Utah will be next year, 2026. Alan, if you would bring up the story, I don't know where the story went.
Yeah, I don't know. Let me try to.
But we have long traveled to the Sundance Film Festival. We've covered it for years. In my opinion, it's become less significant of a film festival. Let's just say that. Less significant.
Okay, the link I have is not working. So I need to find a story different.
What do you think? What do you think about this, Alan? What do you think about Sundance moving to Boulder?
To Boulder, yeah. I think it's a better move, only in the sense that Boulder is a bigger city than Park City. It's higher in elevation. It's gonna snow there. I mean, are they doing it during the winter?
I assume it'll be the same time.
Yeah, this is. I don't know. Okay, so my biggest concern about this is Sundance may lose its specialness moving out of Park City.
Well, I've been to Boulder for a film festival, the Boulder Film Festival. Here we go from the Hollywood Reporter. Goodbye, Park City. Sundance Film Festival heading to Colorado after 4 decades in the small Utah ski town. The country's preeminent film festival is packing its bags for Boulder for the 2027 Fest and beyond. Boulder is very similar to Park City. It's a small town. They do have great theaters there. It's probably easier to navigate. I'll say the problem with Park City is that the venues are too spread out. There's no center for the community. You've got the Egyptian Theater on Main Street, then all the way to the Eccles Theater, then these small venues, some that are converted. They're not really movie theaters, and it basically outgrew Park City. Boulder, this may be a good move. It'll be like ripping off the Band-Aid, but it needs to be done. Here's the bigger problem with Sundance, the movies they show. They show only films from one side of the political aisle. They are very, beyond woke, to the point where the movies are just bad. And the kind of movies they embrace are oftentimes Sundance embraces a movie based on the identity of the filmmaker rather than the quality of the movie. I think they will this is not as big a problem as people are making it out to be. I'll miss Park City. I can always visit. You can drive. It's 11 hours. You can drive. But I think the bigger problem is with Sundance is the programming. It's made the festival less relevant. You could go to Park City in January, see movies, and you're like, oh, that is going to win Best Picture. That movie's going to win Best Picture. That's an Oscar nominee. Now, not so much. The programming is the big problem. If they really wanted to be diverse and inclusive, Sundance would have showed Matt Walsh's Am I Racist and started a discussion. But these festivals are ballless. They don't have the backbone and the balls to say, we're going to pick from here and we're going to pick from here. Just do that. Don't be afraid of a conversation. Don't be afraid of social media shaming. The problem is not moving to Boulder. The problem is people in the festival world having one view and thinking everyone thinks that way. Be truly inclusive, or your festival will become less and less relevant. We have to move on, Alan, because we have a lot of films to review and limited time. The other news stories that we had, please, Lori, if you would cut and paste those, put those for news on Monday. Thank you so much. I appreciate that. All right. A Working Man. Alan, if you would bring up the poster for A Working Man. I know you're prepared because we've talked about this. A Working Man is Jason Statham. Is this, I did not see A Working Man. You saw it.
I saw it.
I'm really excited to talk about it because I want to know, I got one big question. Is A Working Man the beekeeper on a construction site? What is this movie? because
Well-
I saw the trailer. I know the whole movie. Now I do know that Chuck Dixon wrote it, so that's great. Someone we respect in the world of comics. Alan, tell me your review of Working Man.
Okay, so let me answer the question you just asked a while ago. Is this the beekeeper but on a construction site? Well, if you mean, is this a former special forces agent who now works on a construction site? The answer is yes.
Okay, good.
Okay, so Chuck Dixon wrote the graphic novel or wrote the short story or whatever it is. But the screenplay was written by David Ayer, which I guess people like, and Sylvester Stallone. So here's the gist of the story. Jason Statham plays Levon Cade, former British Special Forces, now working on a construction site as kind of penance. When the movie opens and he's walking and his phone rings, Chris, guess who's on that phone?
Who is it?
It's his cute little daughter.
Oh no, it's Liam Neeson all over.
Yeah.
All right,
Well, I mean,
let's hear it.
Look, what was it? Locked. Exact same thing. He's walking along, phone rings. It's his cute little daughter. It's a trope. It is officially a trope now. He works on a construction site for the Garcia family. Father is Michael Pena. Daughter is a young actress, Ariana Rivas. And it's a family-run business. He likes them, so he's their foreman. He gets everyone in shipshape, inspires them. This very diverse, gender-balanced work crew. And then during lunch, a bunch of thugs show up, start beating up one of his employees. Well, he sneaks out. He doesn't want anyone to know his background. He sneaks out, grabs a wrench, and just dispatches with these thugs. But then he crosses the kingpin. As a result, the daughter gets kidnapped. The father is distraught, and he asks Levon Cade to go find him. And it delves right into the cartels. It delves right into Russian mafia. And I'll say this is the dumbest, funnest movie I've seen all year.
So it is dumb, and I like David Ayers. I want to see his Suicide Squad cut.
Yeah, there's so much stupid things going on in this, but the action is well balanced. Look, you get what you expect. You're not going in expecting Shakespeare. You're not expecting the greatest thriller ever made. You're here to see Jason Statham exact justice, and that's what he does. And the way he does it is obviously like every other thriller he's ever done. It's a video game. He defeats one mini boss after the other until he reaches the big boss. And then in that, you have the big battle at the end. And does the daughter get saved? Does she come back alive? A lot of people die in this movie. Like I said, I had fun with this. I would give it a 7.5. It is just dumb, stupid fun.
Well, I like Michael Pena.
Mm-hmm.
He's in this movie. I don't know. It's got mainly I'm interested because Jason Statham he kind of delivers, even if the movie is not great. He is fun to watch.
Yeah,
I did enjoy The Beekeeper and David Ayers. So you sold me. I mean, I will check it out.
Yeah. Okay. Let me give you one little thing here. So one of the mini bosses is another special forces, American Special Forces. And they find out that they were both special forces. Guess what they call those people? What these special forces?
What do they call them?
A working man.
Oh God. Well, look. In the end, you recommend it, and I trust your judgment on this movie.
Yeah. If you want to go to see it at a matinee, save some money, by all means, do it.
Let's go to comments here.
Jacob for 5. Won't AI render animation and 3D modeling obsolete like stop motion?
I can't answer that, but I think it will obsolesce certain things, which kind of sucks. But stop motion is my favorite form of animation. It's phenomenal. I've always loved stop motion. When I was a kid, I made stop motion movies. Maybe I'll show them sometime.
Yeah,
But
for me, if when it comes to animation, if once it starts replicating the squash and bounce in a realistic way, authentic way, then yeah, we're in trouble, or
yeah,
our animation is in trouble.
yeah.
The Brujo for 5 Australian. I want Jason back in the Transporter franchise. He was my James Bond.
We could do a bald James Bond. Why not?
Yeah. Hannibal Grimm for 5. Statham is gonna do Statham.
Statham is gonna Statham.
Tony G. The good thing about Jason Statham movies is that you know what you're getting into. Yes.
Look, it's like buying a street dog late at night when the bars are closed, and you smell that bacon wrapped hot dog with the peppers, and they put mayonnaise. They squirt mayonnaise and ketchup and mustard, and I can't resist them, and I know what I'm getting, which is a stomach ache the next day, but I still love them.
Libra All Women. The trailer looks like Son of Freedom, but brutal with foul language. Yeah, this is a human trafficking story. One Punch Man Tolkien fan. The only white guy I've heard with the name Levon.
That's right. There you go. All right, let's go to our next movie. Alan, if you would bring that up.
Yes. Sorry, I don't know what's in there. Okay, got it.
Are we good? We're good. All right, let's talk about it. The Woman in the Yard is directed by I don't know if I'm getting this right. Wame Colette Sarah. It's about a family in a house. Ramona is a young mother. She was in a horrible accident that her husband died in this car accident. Her leg is crumpled and she's on crutches, and she's kind of suffering through her grief as her young daughter and teenage son live in this house. And what happens? Well, you can guess from the title. There's a woman in their yard, and she's creepy. And it's the woman on the poster, and she's creepy, and she's sitting there, and she won't go away. And strangely, she's sitting in this chair, just staring at them, saying almost nothing. And she keeps moving closer and closer to the house. And that's the whole movie. This is the dumbest concept for a horror film I've ever seen. When you hear about like horror films and science fiction, they all have rules. I don't know what the rules are for this ghostly spirit thing, visitor representing her grief as she deals with the death of her husband. But I imagine that this was a great short film. The concept for this was a great short film under 10 minutes. The problem is you're taking the concept for a 10-minute short that probably was a pretty good short film and expanding it into a feature, and it's just grueling. This is from Blumhouse, which I normally like Blumhouse. They are high concept horror, but they are hit and miss. This one is a swing and a miss. Wow. And when all is quote revealed, it's not, I won't spoil things. It's not super surprising. It's very on the nose. Again, great concept for a short film. Should never have been made into a feature. I mean, look, the director made it highly stylized. It's also kind of claustrophobic. It's all in one location. It's the yard and the house and other areas of the house. But yeah, I did not like this. To me, the 2 out of 10. But I'll see any Blumhouse thing. It was a colossal disappointment, but I didn't have high expectations anyway, because I saw the trailer and it doesn't go beyond much of the trailer. So this is a hard pass. I do not recommend it. Probably might be the worst horror film I've seen this year. So there you go. Although there's one contender we'll talk about later.
All right. So at one point, did one of the characters say, "Hey, is that a woman in the yard?"
Practically. I mean, it's just the fact that they dragged this concept out for 90 minutes. I thought this would be great. If I saw the short film, I'd say that was really great. What's going on? But it's.
And then the other thing is this a feminist tale?
Not really. Not really. It's not
then
really
why make
anything.
this movie? Then why make the
Yeah,
movie?
it's just should not have been a feature. Just it's a hard pass. Let's go to comments.
Yeah, over on Rumble, Volume Dealer 1, I love the new Century advert for Thunderbolts. Why would a god take orders from anyone at all? Interesting. Andrew Cram, boring horror. Gung Ho Mac, a working man and a city woman. Wow. Leo Cody, she's Batman. And from Tony G, Blumhouse and 824 have been turning into college passion projects turned into a feature. I am really disappointed in them. You know, it's hit and miss. Blumhouse
It is hit and miss.
824 is going to put out some great stuff, and they're going to put out some crappy stuff.
Well, there was that one movie they made about the pool.
Yeah.
The killer pool. I mean, they do get ridiculous.
Yeah. So
they do get ridiculous.
They're not consistent. That's the best thing you can say about them.
Well, let's talk about unicorns, Alan.
Yeah.
So you and I both saw a movie called Death of a Unicorn. We both saw it last night. I saw two movies back to back. This was one of them. Alan, tell us the story of Death of a Unicorn, the basic broad strokes.
Yeah, so my screening was at 10:15. I didn't get out until after 1 o'clock.
Oh my God.
Unicorn, Death of Unicorn is the story of Elliot and Ridley Kittner, played by Paul Rudd and Jenna Ortega. Paul has to, mother died. Paul has to take his daughter to a work retreat where he potentially is going to make a lot of money. And he's the lawyer of the man in charge. Along the way, they hit a unicorn, probably the last unicorn. And before it dies, Jenna grabs the horn, the horn, and it's a connection. But then Paul Rudd kills it. They throw the body into the car. They go to their meeting. At that meeting, they run into Odell Shepard and Belinda Leopold, played by Richard E. Grant, Will Poulter, and Tia Leone. Leopold is dying of cancer. He's hoping to find one last final cure. Because he likes Paul Rudd and Jenna Ortega, he's going to put them in the will. But shenanigans begin happening. And lo and behold, that dead unicorn in the trunk may not actually be dead. And there may be more to it. That may not be the last unicorn. And maybe unicorns are not as cute and cuddly as we thought they were.
Well, it's all based on there's a Jenna Ortega's character.
Mm-hmm.
Her mother introduced her to this tapestry, the unicorn tapestry, which tells a folk tale of a unicorn, a baby unicorn that is acquired and taken away from its family, and then the basically family of unicorns comes to attack and murder everybody, and the tapestry basically predicts the events of the movie. This is a full-on horror comedy that is neither horrific, only in its like jump scares. The CG unicorns,
oh my God,
are bad. They're just plain bad. The physics, they do not look real. The concept is kind of interesting that the unicorn horn, which you can grind up, it has healing abilities. It cures Ridley, that's Jenna's character. It cures her acne. Paul Rudd, he used to have allergies. He doesn't. He had to wear glasses. His eyes adjust. So, getting in proximity with unicorn blood or ground up horn has healing powers. So it becomes valuable. And the family, this rich family, sees an opportunity to capitalize on unicorn horn, right? But then it becomes a sort of horror film where one by one they're killed off. It's just, you know what it is? The tone of this movie did not work. It was like, I like horror comedy, but you need to serve both masters. The horror was not great because it was unrealistic, very fake looking. It was kind of dumb at times. And like the fact that like the characters in the movie didn't take the events seriously. It was kind of goofy reactions. Someone would get gored by a horn and then there'd be like a laugh line. It was the tone of this film is the thing that made it not work. Thankfully, the movie is 90 minutes, but my God, it's directed by Alex Sharfman. So he did Below the Man Down, Resurrection, a movie called Lyle, The Heart Machine, and other movies that are unfamiliar to me. But it was really the thing that killed this for me was the tone. It couldn't do horror well. It did not do comedy well. And even Paul Rudd was so annoying. He was like goofy Paul Rudd. And Jenna Ortega, who I normally like, was just annoying at times. She plays the trope. It's such a boring old trope. She's trying to warn them and they don't listen to her because she's the young girl. How many times have we seen that? We already know what's going to happen. Alan, what did you think?
Yeah, everything you said. I think the appeal of this movie is the gore. It is pretty the way people die is pretty horrific. I just the story itself, you know, Jenna Ortega is a girl boss. And by that, what I mean is she has no character arc.
Well, she's the final girl in a horror movie. It's the final girl.
Right. But the thing is, she's the same at the beginning of the movie. She's as she is at the end of the movie. The difference is she loves her father at the end of the movie and not at the beginning of the movie. You know, it's just one of these movies that just feels like a narrative, just one piece of narrative with no real character arcs. Yes, they're evil. The bad people die. The good people live. You know, but there's no, you know, you just can't connect with these characters.
Yeah.
You want to have a weakness. You know, maybe Paul Rudd is the more sympathetic because he's trying to make life better for his daughter. But the daughter hates him, and it resolves at the end thanks to killer unicorns. But that, to me, that's just so weak. And the story is just they do this, then they do that, then they do this, then they do that. Then
it's just one action after another. And you're right, the character arc for Ridley, Jen Ortega is not very good. Even Will Poulter, who I normally really like, was terrible in the movie.
Oh, I actually liked him in this movie.
Well, he was taking like ground unicorn horn and you know, sniffing it up his nose like cocaine. It becomes addicted to it. It's just dumb in not good ways. I mean, I say it's a pass. It's maybe a 4 or 5 out of 10 for me, like a 4, I would say, but really just pass on this. Not worth it. Clever title, clever marketing, clever trailer. I was interested. So, but wow, did it like just really not fulfill my expectations? What are your final thoughts?
Tia Leone's still pretty hot.
Yeah, Tia Leone was she's the one highlight, but it's more gory than one would expect. So there you go. All right, let's go to comments. And Alan, I'll be right back. Got to get more coffee.
All right. Seed says a good movie about unicorns is Legend. 2 cents. Remember, for 4 months. You two should do a movie of the week to go see at home at a theater. To see at home at a theater. At the theater. Okay. Like maybe pick an old film. Maybe that's what you're saying. Marcus Spin. I hope this is a backstory for the unicorn in Cabin in the Woods. Interesting. Critique Corner. Remember, for 27 months. Thank you for hanging on so long. Joe Bob Briggs says a good horror comedy needs to be 80% horror and 20% comedy. That's very insightful. Patrick Lemire, I'm pretty sure Paul Rudd lives on unicorn smoothies. That's true. Bill W, does unicorn cure hemorrhoids? Asking for friends. Look, if unicorn horns can cure acne, I'm pretty sure it'll cure hemorrhoids. Let's see. Let me look for some more comments here. Let's see. Nerd Far Away, whoever made that last comment about Legend, agreed. Let me see. Oh, okay, here we go. Sons of Shadow. One to see in a theater, one to see at home. Believe me, I see a lot of movies at home. Unicorns was a theme in Blade Runner and used in Legends. You have a lot of here we go. Will Yum for 5. A24 used to be pretty solid with hits. Lately, some noticeable misses. Like I said, I think A24 is going to put out some really great stuff this year. I don't know off the top of my head, but that's the consistency of A24 is they'll put out 3 great movies and then 5 horrible movies.
I agree.
So now they're down to 4. A24 is only going to produce 4 more horrible movies for the rest of this year.
Yeah. So I heard that comment about a good horror comedy is 80% horror, 20% comedy. That is exactly right. The good horror comedies that work, like Evil Dead 2, it's funny, but it's only 20%. 80% is horror. So yeah, who made that comment? I'm sorry, I didn't.
Someone in one of our regulars. I can't remember who, but
I'm sorry.
Let me if you're gonna make a comedy, it needs to be 100% comedy.
Yes. Yeah. Why not?
I mean, that's the winning formula of a comedy.
Yeah,
it's gotta be funny 100% of the time.
Yeah. Then there you go. Wait, did you get the last one from William?
Yes, I did.
Thank you, William. Thank you, everyone, for that. Let's switch to our next movie, a movie I haven't seen. Penguin Lesson.
Okay, Alan? Yep, there it was. It was right there. All right,
Alan. I have not seen this movie. The Penguin Lessons. Love the cast. Steve Coogan and Jonathan Pryce. What is this about? This is
yeah. So I don't know if you remember My Penguin Friend last year.
Yes, I saw that movie. I liked My Penguin Friend. I
was hoping to like this one. Again.
Oh no.
I love the cast. Steve Coogan, Jonathan Pryce. I'm going to say this about Steve Coogan. I admire Steve Coogan. Alan Partridge is one of my favorite things he's done. But I've noticed in the last few years his movies are basically communist movies. So let's talk about My Penguin Friend. This is a true story. Steve Coogan plays.
Let's talk about The Penguin Lesson.
Yeah, I'd rather talk about My Penguin Friend.
That was good.
Let's talk about The Penguin Lessons. Steve Coogan stars as a kind of a expatriate teacher, Tom Michel, who finds himself in Argentina teaching at a boys' university. He teaches them English. He's kind of down on his luck. His wife left him a long time ago, a family issue. And he's just trying to live to the next day. So he goes into the school. Obviously, the shtick is that he's a new teacher. No one listens to him. Him and a buddy decide to go to another country to meet women and dance. And while meeting a woman and walking along the beach, they discover a penguin covered in oil. And the date says, hey, we need to rescue this penguin. So they take the penguin back to the hotel room. They clean him up. And all is well. They try to reintroduce the penguin back to the ocean, but the penguin hangs around, much like in My Penguin Friend. Tom Michel cannot get rid of this penguin. He has to take it back over the border. The customs won't let him bring the penguin across without spending a lot of money. So yeah, keep it. And they say, no, just take it. He has to hide the penguin. He has to hide the penguin. And And so all this shenanigans. But the thing is that Tom Michelle learns a little bit about himself, rediscovers a passion for teaching. But this is not the story of the movie. The story of the movie is about the housekeeper and her daughter. The daughter, this in Ecuador at this time, there's a fascist government regime running the government. The young people, the communists, are trying to take it over. There's a civil war about to begin, and the young woman, the young girl who's the daughter of the housekeeper, is kidnapped because of her communist views. He could have stopped it, but he chose to play it safe, and that's kind of what this movie is about. The theme of, if you see something wrong, say something. That happens 3 or 4 times throughout this movie and becomes pretty much the pivotal point of this movie. The penguin is cute. Everyone loves penguins. The penguin's journey is similar to my penguin friend, but doesn't follow it. I'll tell you, bottom line, I did not like this movie, and it's all politically based. Because for some reason they want us to be in one camp. You're either for the fascists or you're for the communists. Right. And why can't I be not for either? And this guy, Steve Coogan has been putting out all these communist films lately, or anti-fascist, anti-capitalist movies lately, and he's starting to really sour on me. And this is just another example of it. So look, if you like communism and socialism and think it's the greatest thing, here's a penguin movie for you. But for everyone else, if politics annoys you, this movie is going to annoy you. And so I cannot recommend this movie.
So the politics is woven into the story?
Yeah, about a penguin, a rescued penguin.
The one thing about my penguin friend, there really weren't any politics. It was a very simple.
It was a friendship story. It was a story of friendship.
A friendship story, very simple, likable. I don't know. It was good for kids and adults, and it's true. It's a true story
too, and this is a true story as well. This is not a kids movie. I would not take kids to see this movie.
Oh wow!
I know and again, it's all about politics. And look, this is I'm calling it now. But this idea of, the theme of rebelling against authority is the stories. More and more stories are coming about that, where we are being said, look, these fascists, these capitalists, they're doing evil things. We need to take them down. I will tell you, this is the exact sentiment I have for Andor season 2. It's this the little guys taking down the big guys. So we have to paint the big guys as as super evil, and it's, I don't know, I'm it's starting to become a trend, and I'm starting to be bothered by it. And again, I'm not fascist and I'm not communist. There's a happy medium which is called America, and that's the one I follow. Sorry, there you go. Political rant for the day.
So you do not recommend this?
Not at all.
Let's go to comments.
Unless you're a communist.
So communists will love the penguin list.
Yes. Exactly. Sin's Corner. Yes, there are definitely pro-socialist communist slant in the penguin lesson. Yes. Absolutely. Rockefeller Plaza. Is this the gayest penguin movie ever? There might be one. Uncle Remus. Does Colin Farrell play the penguin in this as well? Yes. And he'll win an Oscar for it. He'll win that Oscar. Rockefeller Plaza. So the penguin is Trump. No. The penguin is AOC. Sons and Shadows, member for 20 months. Jonathan Pryce is such an underrated actor who has been in so much but never gets the credit for his range or skill.
Agree with that.
I've always thought that's great.
All right, let's talk about a movie you and I both saw, The Ballad of Wallis Island.
Yes. Sorry.
Okay, so we'll talk about
again. There we go.
Alan, you and I both saw The Ballad of Wallis Island. This is it's a romantic comedy. In the end, it's a romantic comedy. Well,
Okay.
it has, look,
Okay.
yes, here's why. It's about a gentleman on a remote island who got rich with by winning the lottery
He wins it twice.
twice. That's how lucky he is. He is mourning the loss of his wife 5 years ago and wants to celebrate by bringing his heroes who do folk music to his island for a performance for one person, him. And he's paying them an exorbitant sum of money for a one-time performance for one person to soothe his heart on the 5-year anniversary of his wife's death. The problem is this folk singing couple are no longer together. They since broke up a long time ago.
No contact.
And they have not been in contact with each other. They traveled to the island, and Carey Mulligan plays Nell Mortimer. He is one half of the duo, and Tom Baston plays Herb McGuire. It's Mortimer and McGuire, a folk singer, and Herb went on to do a solo career. Nell, he retired, kind of got away from the business. She has a new boyfriend, Michael. And Tim Key plays Charles, who is the one inviting both of them. Now, of course, neither of them are aware they've been invited separately. There's conflict where one is being paid more than the other. The island is kind of strange. Cell phones don't work. Nothing works. It's
one boat comes in every other day.
One boat. Yeah. There's not like communication. There's one little general store run by a woman named Amanda, played by Sian Clifford. It's fish out of water for Herb as he tries to get settled on the island. It's sort of a ghost romantic comedy in the sense that the romance part of it you don't see coming until the very end, and it's not with who you think. I was really delighted with this film. Found it very fun. It's the kind of movie that they used to make. They don't make as much anymore. There are problems with it. It's that the music I didn't think was that great.
I'll speak to that.
They're building up Mortimer and McGuire. Was it McGuire or Mortimer? I'm not sure. But the building up these amazing songs that really affected Charles, and the songs are not that great. I didn't think the songs were that great. So it builds up to what will be the performance. And will they perform together? Will they not? Leave it at that.
Will they get paid?
No, will they get paid? What's going on? But it's more the journey of Herb and what he learns on the island, and the healing of the heart of Charles, and kind of resolving between the resolution between Mortimer and McGuire, Carey Mulligan and Tom Baston. They're two characters. I thought it was fine. It was fine, not great, but it also reminds me, like, we used to get movies like this every week in the theater. They were okay. This is just okay. Alan, what did you think?
Yeah, I probably liked it a little bit better than you did. One of the things that appealed to me is the idea of, you win the lottery twice. What do? You live on a deserted island that has one general store on it.
Yeah.
To me, I mean, I wouldn't mind retiring that way. I like this. It's a very simple tale. We talked about Death of a Unicorn not having a character arc. This movie has 3 character arcs. And I'm going to say it's not a romance. It's a friendship movie. I just don't think it went that far. The middle character that you talked about, the guy who won the lottery, he's the one in the middle there, Charles. A little annoying, but he becomes endearing by the end. I mean, that's what you call a character arc. You starts in one place, he's different at the end. Same with Herb and Nell. They all have character arcs, and that's what good drama is. The music, I'll speak to the music. The music's okay. I mean, it's folk music. It's folk music. Here's the thing that you may not know, because I interviewed the director for this, and it'll be on our interview channel. But the two gentlemen, the ones playing Herb and Charles, they are a comedy duo from Ireland, and they wrote and directed the movie, and they wrote the songs. So what I appreciated about this movie is a lot of times when you have these famous singers as characters, or legendary singers, and when it comes to the concert, they go through this little montage where you don't hear the songs they sing because they know they can't write songs. This one, they chose to write the songs and perform them. Carey Mulligan has great harmonies, and they're okay. They're folk music. That's what you got. But I think in the end, it's a simple tale of three endearing characters. And the ending is not as predictable as you might think it is.
Yeah, I did like the end. The ending brought it home for me, so yeah. I'm giving it a recommend. Like, but like a 6.5 or 6.
Yeah, I'm going to give it a 7.5. Definitely.
Yeah, okay.
And the movie is coming out in limited release this weekend, but when it's full release in 2 weeks, the interview with the director will be there.
Let's go to comments.
Andrew Cram for 2. Is it funny? It's humorous. Let's put
it's British, very British humor.
Yeah, it's very deadpan, and a lot of it comes from Herb, and because he's a very unusual person.
Yeah,
let's put it that way. Joanna Subject sounds like a horror / mystery setup, murder mystery setup. Yeah, that's what I thought.
Horror.
I know, but I was thinking it at the beginning. 80 Ellis 24, your grandparents' favorite film of the season.
Yeah.
Yes.
And final comment here from
Patrick Lemire. These look like a sleepy. This looks like a sleepy little indie film from 2005.
That is a very accurate description. Very accurate.
Right.
All right, let's go to our next review, a film I saw. Let's go to our next review, a movie that I saw by myself in a theater with a bunch of other people, and is very unexpected. A bunch of people that I'm sitting here, and a lot of people sitting alone watching this. Bob Trevino Likes It. How do I describe this movie? Well, it's about a young woman, Lily Trevino, played by Barbie Ferreira. She's on the show Euphoria, and her father, played by French Stewart, is Bob Trevino, and her dad, Bob Trevino, is the worst dad on the planet. He only cares about himself. He does not care for his daughter. He's a narcissist, using his daughter as kind of a way to help him in his dating life with women. He really is not interested in what's happening in his daughter's life. He was a terrible father early. And when Bob Trevino, her dad, presents her, they have a falling out. She's calling him. He won't talk to her. And finally she meets with her and presents her with a list of all of the expenses and what it cost him to raise her as a daughter. It's heartbreaking to see. Lily loves her dad in spite of him being probably the worst father in the world. I mean, it's comedic. Lily makes a living like being a caretaker for a woman named Daphne, who's in a wheelchair, played by Lauren Spencer. They have a cute relationship. And out of some desperation, she's on Facebook. No one likes any of her posts. She'll post something about her life, completely ignored. He looks up Bob Trevino and finds a list of people named Bob Trevino and decides to friend one. Why not? And sends a message, hey, are we related? And this other Bob Trevino, who's an older man in his 50s, married, works in construction. He's not particularly savvy on social media. friends, Lily. And they start a friendship. I'm not sure if we were related. My mother came from Mexico. My life was this. And they strike up a friendship, a strange friendship between a young woman in her 20s and this older married man in her 50s, but it's completely innocent. John Leguizamo, who plays the good father, Bob Trevino, ends up becoming kind of a mentor in a way. He's just a good person. He helps her with her toilet. They have a fun relationship, taking pictures. They admit stories about their life. Lily Trevino tells a story about having a puppy as a kid and accidentally kind of hurting the puppy by kind of loving it maybe a little too much. And it's made her kind of afraid of dogs. And Bob, the John Leguizamo Bob, kind of walks her through that and ends up being kind of a father figure to Lily. Completely innocent. This is a comedy with some deep drama, not dark, but I will say the French Stewart version of Bob Trevino is horrible. This is my favorite indie movie of the year. I would say it's the best film I've seen this year. I was in a theater, end of the movie, no one walks out after the credits. It's revealed that this is based on a true event by the director, Tracy Lehman. And it's like 96% on Rotten Tomatoes, 93% audience score. This is one of those it does what indie movies do best. Character study, emotional, unexpected events, funny out of just the weird, the strangeness, especially with French Stewart as the awful original Robert Trevino. And I just love this movie. I plan to see it again. It's so heartwarming. And Alan and the audience are now cringing, going, everything you said, it just sounds. Barbie Ferreira is fantastic in this film. She's so good. So 9 out of 10 for me.
Wow.
Listen to Rotten Tomatoes and the audience on Rotten Tomatoes.
Wow.
Won audience awards at festivals. I'm telling you, this is my favorite movie I've seen this year. And a strong recommend from me. If you need, and look, I'm not even a dog person. And there's a scene with a puppy that got me in the feels. This movie will get you in the feels. So strong recommend from me.
Wow. After seeing the trailer for this movie, I did not want to see this movie.
Well, look,
it was very low on my list.
Whatever you think about John Leguizamo, I don't care. He's so good. The whole cast is great. And I just fell in love with this film. So strong recommend from me. Go
it just
see
checks off so many boxes of movies I don't want to see.
But it's not.
And now you're going to make me see it.
It's not woke in any way.
Okay.
It's just heartfelt. It's what we need. It's you know what? If you need your heart healed, if you want to see just a beautiful story, this is it. Again, like I said, this is what indie movies do best. And this movie knocked it out of the park for me.
Okay.
Let's go to comments.
Guess I'm seeing it. Mike MC Wong, John Leguizamo was actually pretty good in this one. He did a great job. It's either quite good or great. You got to pick one. From Andrew Cram, it could work as long as the chemistry is good with the main characters.
Well, there you go.
All right.
Cool. All right. We are pivoting. We're going to pivot here, Alan. And so our guests are in our green room, but they don't have the camera on. Could you?
Oh, here we go.
Okay, wait. Who is Amy? Put in the private chat. Well, I didn't know she was coming. Can you put her name in the chat, please? In the private chat. I'm not prepared here.
Are you able? Okay, I think he's doing it right now.
It's okay. We were not. Your publicist needs to. Okay.
Hey, they gave us a bonus. Be happy for the bonus.
I'm happy for the bonus.
Don't complain about the bonus.
I'm not complaining.
You are complaining.
I am complaining a little bit. I like to be prepared and professional. So, okay. It's all good. Hey,
She plays Amber.
This show is very professional. Mostly. It's mostly professional. So, all right. As we like to do every week, we love to talk to indie filmmakers. We cover the big Hollywood movies, sure. But I love to talk to indies, and I love independent horror. So let's talk to the filmmakers behind Screamboat. Hey, welcome to the show. Director Steven LaMorte and actress Amy Schumacher from Screamboat. Thank you for joining us today. Your movie opens next week. I'm super excited. Now, we've seen a whole bunch of these, what do we call public domain horror films?
Mm-hmm.
Where did this come from?
Well, I mean, you're talking about this one or all public domain horror films?
Yours in particular, but
ours in
comment on it. Yeah.
Yes, of course. Well, I mean, we knew after The Mean One that this trend of taking childhood characters and sort of turning them on their side wasn't going anywhere. And we wanted to try to do something that was not only a love letter to the character, but also just the kind of fun, thrilling, big screen adventure movie that we love watching. So we wanted to sort of take our inspiration from everything from the Gremlins to the cartoon itself, Steamboat Willie, to Chucky and Leprechaun. And we wanted to mix them all together, put on sort of a horrific Terrifier spin and make a zany theatrical comedy.
And Amy, I think you get some red on you. There's definitely blood.
Yes.
We're going to show the trailer in a minute because I want people to get a taste of the film. But this was much gorier than I expected.
That's our goal. Our goal is to shock and surprise.
How fun is that? I mean, you're covered in sticky blood for hours, I assume.
Yes, it was so fun. And we did so much of it practically I helped produce the movie as well. So from all of the other kills and how gory and bloody they are. And then to, my character getting to go, toe to toe with the monster himself. It was a sticky experience for sure. Smelled a lot like maple syrup.
Now I got to ask you, the body count is there a quota body count, or is it in the end in terms of the total number of people dead by the end of the film?
I don't know what it is.
Because there's a pretty high body count, given that it takes place on a commuter ferry, so there are big crowd scenes, and they don't all make it out. I couldn't tell you what the whole body count is, but I do know that at the premiere, someone came up to me and I guess was watching the film with a watch, and they said, we have a kill every 6 minutes. Willie is in a scene, pretty much every other scene. Once he's there, once the mouse is out, he doesn't stop. So it's pretty high.
Okay, and the other one is, if I'm not mistaken, you filmed the movie on the infamous Colin Jost Pete Davidson ferry boat.
We cannot comment on who owns the very publicly.
Let's call the Staten Island ferry boat.
An easily Googleable
decommissioned Staten Island ferry.
Okay. That's right.
Wow. Right. Well, let's take a look at the trailer, and then we have questions from our chat. Let me
coming soon.
I'm gonna make we gotta make this. This trailer is so good. Please okay. You got to see this. Okay, here we go.
The wonderful world of Willie. Set sail for an adventure like no other. Meet Steamboat Willie. He's wacky, he's wicked, and he's whistling his way into your heart. Literally. Oh! All aboard the Staten Island Ferry. Willie's world of mischief and mayhem. But he's not taking this trip alone. Willie is joined by a group of unsuspecting passengers, along with 5 fearless friends: Cindy, Bella, Jazzy, Ariana, and Rory.
Let's get the Jungle Cruise going!
From the producers of Terrifier 2 and 3.
We're all going to die.
When their dream voyage turns into a nightmare, they'll have to work together to survive the night and find their happily ever after. This is no fairy tale.
It's the happiest place on earth.
Screamboat, in theaters April 2nd for a limited time. Get tickets today.
That I don't know. I've really come to love these like public domain horror films. They're very creative. I love the use of it's part puppet, part in a costume. The Willie the mouse or whatever, and you scale him so he's tiny, but he pulls off all these kills. It kind of reminded me of a Trilogy of Terror with Karen Black. You know, like
yes,
the
good
small
reference.
thing,
Yeah,
you're
the
being
little
attacked.
evil. Yes,
Yes, it had that element of it, and way gorier than I thought. So, tell me the thinking behind the kills, the character, how you designed it, and whatnot.
Sure. Well, the of course we wanted to take a cue from the original Steamboat Willie cartoon, that classic silhouette, the ears, the hat, the design. But we also wanted to bring him into the real world because we knew that if we went with like something that looked like a theme park mascot, there's only so much performance you can get. And when you cast Art the Clown, David Howard Thornton, who's got such an expressive face and is so used to working with makeup and through prosthetics, we wanted a design that would accommodate that would allow him to perform and not just be a static plastic face or something where the mouth just moved. We wanted him to move his eyebrows and move his nose and breathe and all that stuff, be able to whistle and dance. And you need specific kind of prosthetics to be able to make some of those shapes with your mouth. So the design sort of started with the casting. And then from there, we sort of built up, and we knew that if we were going to do a big bloody horror flick, that it had to be gory. And if some of these kills are purposefully preposterous and cartoony, and it was always from day one, we knew the kills were going to be big and they were going to be obnoxious. And the hope is they would be so gory that they would be funny and it would work in that sort of horror comedy balance.
Yeah, I've got to ask you, in terms of, you know, when we've talked about movies like this, we always get into the intellectual property aspect of it. In the design of your Willie, what were things that
Our Willie, we share it.
What were the things that you had to? What were the things that you had to kind of be aware of in his design?
Yeah, that's a really good question. We had worked with a lawyer before we even started writing and developing the look of the character, because not only did we want to honor the IP, but we also want to stay within the legal framework of it. And so there were elements. He has to be black and white. He always has to be wearing the hat. Mm-hmm. You know, if he's not wearing the hat, he becomes the other character that is not in public domain.
Oh, okay.
He whistles and he makes noises and giggles and things like that in our movie, but he cannot speak. So all of those things set a little bit of a parameter around writing the script and also developing the character. And then the decision to make him 3 feet tall and to scale in the way that we did, then we had to understand his proportions and what he was wearing and, you know, the buttons and his shoes and all of those extra elements into it. We all had to run by our lawyer in photo and in writing and all of those things first, just to make sure we were, you know, honoring the IP.
All right. Well, we got some questions from the audience, and let's, if you don't mind answering. Sons and Shadows, are you eyeing up for a physical media release?
Definitely. Once the movie is out of theaters and has had its very successful theatrical run, which your audience is going to help make happen. Yes, we'll definitely be doing a physical release. We love not just the DVDs and the Blu-rays, but we really love making the steel books because it lets us put cool art on there. And we have so much crazy behind the scenes footage, whether it's the oversized props, how many people it takes to fill a captain's deck with blood, or we've got miniatures, we've got pyro, we've got smoke gags, we've got all the shots of the crew getting seasick on a boat, even though it's docked. I mean, shooting in New York City, there's so much cool stuff that we want to put into the physical release. So yeah, we'll definitely be doing one for sure.
Well, let's just say the other company would have done that too.
Yeah,
that's right. That's right.
Yeah, we steal from the best. I mean, homage. Sorry.
Exactly. Nerd Far Away. Hail, Mr. LaMorte. What do you like to use for movie blood?
It's a great question. I genuinely couldn't tell you. It is a secret sauce from our team from Los Angeles. They actually shipped it in because there was such a high volume of it that we needed a special recipe that would clean up easy, because I like to be able to do multiple takes and stuff like that. So I genuinely couldn't tell you. I know there's a little dish soap in it, and I know it smells of maple syrup.
It really smells like maple syrup. Is it maple syrup?
I don't think it's maple syrup because it cleans up like a whiz. It's really, really clean. I know that's a non-answer. I wish I could answer it. Everyone was very impressed because we cleaned a lot of blood on this movie, but it's a secret sauce. I genuinely don't know.
Quantum Creations Effects did our gore, so
they use special
the answer.
blood sprayers, and they built the puppet, and they built David's suit. They also built some of the gore gags. So there's severed things that look like humans. They made those. And then they also, the 3D printing department did which is their name and not a misnomer. They did our blood sprayers and our blood hoses that allowed us to get the sort of the projectile blood effects that are all sprayed throughout the movie.
All right. From ADL's 24. What was behind the process of procuring the infamous Staten Island ferry boat purchased by unknown entities for shooting? Were you the first production to use it for the purpose of a horror film?
Yeah,
we were definitely. I mean, we're definitely the first horror, the first film to shoot completely on a Staten Island ferry. No one's ever done that. Just because you can't, you're not allowed to stay on the ferry. Everyone has to disembark. So if you wanted to make a movie like this, you would have to get on and off the boat every 30 minutes. It's just not possible. You can't shoot behind where they store them. You can't. You can shoot on the boat. They won't close it for you. But that's not sustainable. There'd just be too much blood on the walls. How would we clean it every 22 minutes? I'm from Staten Island. Originally, the movie's a sort of a love letter to New York and all things Disney. And the Staten Island filmmaking community, Fuzz on the Lens with Stream and Damien Leone and Terrifier. I mean, there's a lot of people who want to support independent filmmakers and independent artists. And we get a bad rap, but we're a tight-knit little island, and we put some feelers out through some folks that we know, and we're able to very graciously be allowed to use the boat by some unnamed entities, and we're just very grateful because independent movies only happen when some people take a chance on some crazy people and don't hang up the phone when they hear he's a killer Mickey Mouse, and we're very fortunate to have the boat and to have been able to make this movie.
Okay, Matthew Hammond, what a great trailer. Yeah.
Thank you. Thanks so much.
Was that the voiceover? Was that a sound alike, or was that?
So that gentleman is fantastic. I believe he is actually the voice of the monorail. So he has actually formally done and done those voices. And he's great. And he's like, this seems scary. I'm like, yeah, don't worry about it. Just say it. Say the words.
All right, Rudy for 5. I managed to get tickets for Burbank at 7. It's completely sold out. Congratulations. Looking forward to it.
Oh, that's so fun. We'll be there.
Oh, cool. Kevin Appel, are you selling merch? If so, how can I get it? Being forced to go to Disney World next month. Oh, I was just there last month. And would love to sport the merch. I hate Disney.
Well, that's you want to confuse some people. Definitely rock our merch. You can get
we definitely have some merch. You can get merch, our logo merch at sleight-of-hand-store.com has some of our merch, and we've got more designs coming. And then if you want some of the more iconic pictures that are starting to come out, Rock Rebel is selling 2 different really cool t-shirts that would be perfect actually for your mission at Disney World.
That's right. Or Scarecrow Shop has them, and they actually
Hot Topic.
And Hot Topic carries them as well. So there's 2 designs we're rocking. One that's got the mouse with the wheel and blood on it, and another that has the mouse standing on a dead captain holding a wheel as well. And they're super rad. Scarecrows is where I go and I get all of my horror stuff. And they have them. They physically have them in stock, and they're shipping them. So yeah, definitely.
And they're shipping them very quickly. We heard. So
yeah, you'll have them in time for the premiere for sure.
All right, Solomon Thorne. Greetings, Sir Stephen and Madam Amy. How long did it take for the film to get made?
We shot on both coasts, so both in New York and LA, and so we shot on the boat for 24 days over the course of about a month, and then we came back to LA and we shot for another
almost 10 days.
10 days over the course of 6 weeks.
Because we did, forced perspective things in the studio. We did some LED wall like The Mandalorian. The movie has miniatures, so we did some water tank stuff. We had to build things and blow them up. So, I mean, sometimes the days all start to blur together. But yeah, it's 25 days on the boat and then another 10 or so in various.
Probably about 35 to 40 days in total between all the little things we picked up.
And that doesn't count
over the course of 3 months.
And that doesn't count shooting like elements and little VFX things in our bathtub with chocolate syrup and stuff.
Yeah,
so yeah,
literally.
All right, A.D. Ellis. Not only did you cast Tyler Posey in a leading role, but you also cast his younger brother in a support role. What was it like working with the brothers, and who was cast first?
It's actually the reverse. We cast Jesse Posey. Jesse Posey is the lead. And he was having such a great time. He plays a fantastic character in the movie and is a great actor. And his brother is more of a supporting role in the movie. But I mean, it's wild to work with them because their voices and their mannerisms sound so much the same that you hear someone talking in the room. You're like, oh, Jesse. Oh, wait, no, that's Tyler. But they're both fantastic actors. They're really fun to work with. Jesse is a standout star in the movie. So he's the one to look for in this one.
All right. And last question or comment from St. Chase. I'm so looking forward to seeing this. I heard the news when it was announced, but dang, it looks good.
Thank you. Thanks so much. We had so much fun making this movie. And, I know it's been said before, we're not the first Steamboat Willie horror film to come out, but part of that is because we really took our time making it. Now, this is insane to say, considering we started development on the movie in 2024 and it's coming out 3 months into 25. So I acknowledge it's still very, very fast, but it was important that if we want to do all of the in-camera effects, we want to take our time shooting the gore, we want to really nail every element of it, that stuff just takes a little bit more time. And so we hope it shows in the movie to how much fun we had and why you should see it in theaters on the big screen, because in surround sound with the live orchestra and the effects and the monsters, all that good stuff, you want to see it big and loud.
Yeah, I was surprised because I've seen it. I saw a screener. I prefer in theater. I go to all of these, whether it's Fathom events or limited release screenings. The audience, there is an audience for this. Everyone I go to is packed or nearly full. I did see the other Willie movie. It was not great.
Not good.
I'm sorry. Good. It was like torture porn. It had no sense of humor. It was not. This movie is funny. It's fun. It's a crowd pleaser. It's got a, like, there's a real character to Willie, a sort of mischievous, like a mini, Art the Clown in a way, I would say. I mean that as a compliment. So
I appreciate that.
Kudos to you guys. It opens next week. We'll talk about it next week. We'll review it next week.
And did you want to mention our new category at Award This?
Yes. Okay. So we do this annual award show called Award This, which is for truly indie movies. We're not just talking movies under $1 million, some of them under like $10,000. So it's the real indie film awards. And we created a category just for films like this, public domain horror, and thinking you might get nominated. So if you want to come out to the West Coast for the award show, there's a good chance. We announced the nominees in November. So, but there's just so many of these and they're so good. It's like a separate category. Yeah. So I really
have 7 coming out this year. So
more than that. But what really worked for me was the sense of humor. The movie knew when to take itself seriously and when to get gory, and it really gets gory. So, yeah.
Thank you. That's what we're going for. Heart, humor, and horror. That's our brand.
Well, looking forward to Screamboat 2. Is there a website people can go to get more info?
Yes, screamboatmovie.com, and we're Screamboat Movie on all social media.
And there you can see all the theaters that are showing it all weekend from April 2nd, through till the Sunday. Hopefully we get extended if people come out and see it. And we're on the AMC A-list and Regal Stub. So if you have the subscription, use it.
Use them. And
we're doing here it is.
And screenings all over. So, there it is.
If you're going to Burbank on at 7 on the 2nd, I believe David Howard Thornton will actually be there. Yes. He'll be at the 9.
Wow.
Yeah, he'll
the
be
7
there.
And the 9, and then in Michigan.
He'll be in Michigan on Saturday. So you can, if you follow us on social media, you'll see the cast is all over. We're doing screenings in Chicago and Los Angeles and New York.
That button, find your theater button, all you have to do is put in your zip and it'll populate any of the theaters playing it at any of the
go.
times. So that's an easy spot.
All right. Screamboatmovie.com. I thank you so much, Amy and Steven, for joining us. I hope is there part 2? Is that coming?
Yeah, you'll have to see the movie to see where it ends off, but I can say when it comes to Steamboat Willie, there are more stories to be told on the Staten Island Ferry.
So watch the movie many times.
Yes,
That's
please.
right.
Yes, please.
That's right.
Great. Awesome. Well, thanks for joining us on the show. Congrats on the film. And will you be in Burbank as well?
We will. Yes, we'll be there definitely on April 2nd, and then we'll be all around Los Angeles the whole release week.
That's my local theater. I hope to see you there.
Oh,
yes, come through.
We'll be there.
All right. Take care. Thanks again.
Bye-bye. Thank you.
That was a blast.
Yeah.
The film is fun. We will do an official review next week. But several screenings are already sold out. It's limited, so you got to get it. Sorry I dropped.
If it does really well, then it won't be limited.
Exactly. So sorry I dropped. I froze. The only thing that fixes it's StreamYard issue. So apologies everyone for that.
But my issue is my problem, but yours is.
We have
StreamYard.
different problems.
Yeah,
You know?
blame it on StreamYard. Yeah, my issue is StreamYard.
My issue, I think yours is your computer because it's consistent. Mine is inconsistent.
Closing.
You know what? It's all good. Hey, as we wrap up, final reminder here. Alan and I will be at WonderCon very soon, actually. We will be at WonderCon tonight in Anaheim at the Anaheim Convention Center. We'll be live on YouTube around 5 or 6 p.m. Lori will talk to you. So if you want to see what's happening at WonderCon Live, we will give you a tour. I am not wearing my Batman Crocs. It's not going to happen. But Alan and I will be there, and then I am on a panel at 7:30 p.m., room 210, Concept Creation, a writer's forum. That's today, Friday, March 28th, 7:30 p.m. And then look for us live on YouTube, where Alan and I we'll just walk around. We will answer your questions. We'll do a little Q&A. And next week, busy week for us. I want to let you guys know. Next week, Alan and I will be at CinemaCon. We'll be there on Tuesday. We will do, by popular demand, a road stream. As we together in a car we're going to drive to Vegas. We will be on as long as possible, probably around noonish. I don't know. We got to get to a spot with good cell service. I'll be on my phone and we will live talk about that. Yeah. Wednesday, Hollywood on the Rocks. Well, we'll actually do Film Threat After Dark. We will do a later stream on Wednesday and tell you what we saw at CinemaCon. We're doing the Disney panel, the Superman presentation. We will see How to Train Your Dragon, and we will be doing the John Wick experience at Area 15. So we will post exclusive video for members only as well. We'll show you the highlights on this show. And so next week will be crazy for us. And we will do our normal show, our normal live stream we're doing today. We're doing that. And versus I can't wait for on Monday because we will see second weekend for Snow White. I am seeing reports, Angry Badger, he was in a theater by himself and he took a picture of
for what
theater? Snow White.
For Snow White, okay.
He was alone, and there are screenings, I'm told, that no one has attended.
Yeah, Disney has not released their numbers from yesterday yet. Which is
it'll be interesting on Monday. So that's it for us. I want to say thanks to our mod, Lord Thoth. Thank you to everyone who sent in a super chat and participated in a lively discussion. It's more fun live. And thank you all, as always, to Atomic Lori and Glenn Nuccio. And I might say thank you to Alan.
Yeah, maybe later.
Who saved my butt.
Yeah.
saved my butt when I froze. But I came back, and Alan, he stuck it right there in the captain's chair.
I stuck it right there.
He's stuck in the captain's chair.
But it comes out of the cooch.
Why would you say that?
Oh, because we were talking about a certain movie where a thing comes out of the cooch. That's what.
All right, we'll see you at WonderCon in Anaheim, Alan.
Let's get out of here.